does Dr. Hahnemann has said something about this black hole, then why you are shouting about black hole, black hole? You guys are distracting. The idea of black hole, matter and antimatter, and to be very precise, the concept of nothingness. But I want to ask you a question. Does this concept has been ever mentioned, referred, or indicated by our master Dr. Hahnemann somewhere in any of his writings? Because this question was asked to me also. No, sir, we are not distracting, we are not misguiding. What we are teaching, what we have understood in the light of modern science, with reference to the homeopathic philosophy and the ancient philosophy, with the help of ancient philosophy. So this concept of black hole or conversion of matter into antimatter is absolutely homeopathic. It is supported by Organon and Dr. Hahnemann also. Hello friends, I am Dr. Deepanshu. Many of you may be knowing me, and I believe most of you may not be knowing me. So let me introduce myself. I am a predictive homeopath, and I am attached to predictive homeopathy and trying to understand sir, and I'm practicing such teaching also since 2002. So today I am posting this video because I want to connect with all of you on a personal basis because of two main reasons. One is I wanted to talk a little more about the black hole concept in homeopathy, and I'll tell you why. And second, you can consider this video as prologue to the video series what I am going to post. Explain a little bit about the whatever series we are starting on the YouTube, the series of the seminar which I have organized in 2015, February 2015. So that's more than 5 years now, where I have shared a lot of new concept. Why I'm saying new? Because 5 years back, talking about the black hole thing was really a new concept. I have written most of my findings on my Facebook page. But I believe that before understanding something what I am saying, it is very important for everybody to understand how I reached there, how I concluded certain things in what I am talking about in the seminar. And I must say that the seminar what we conducted in 2015 was an incomplete seminar, I would say, because I have a lot of information to share, a lot of knowledge to share, and we organized it for just for one day, and I believe that one day is a very short span to explain a new concept. And Secondly, there was a very short time. So now this digital media, this YouTube platform, Zoom platform is a wonderful thing for which gives me opportunity to connect again to you all and give you all the insights what I got. I am not here to teach you anything. I would be just sharing my perception of things, how it has changed after an incident in my life, which I called Seven Sense. And for which I think that has helped me to understand predictive system of homeopathy very well. So I'll be talking a little bit about my Facebook page. I have started writing all my findings, and not all, but most of my findings on my page in 2013 to 15. So I got this concept, I got this idea of Seven Sense in 2013, somewhere in the mid of August. And to be very frank, I just got to know certain things, and it was immediately. Whatever I knew, within a month, I knew everything. But I have understood everything in terms of philosophy. And while I was talking to people, when I was sharing my ideas, that I have got to know about this is happening, this, and this could be a probability. And then in that journey, in this interactions with different people, I got to know that people have started talking to me. Okay, so what you are saying is mentioned in so and so Ved, so and so Puran, and this is mentioned in our Quran. It is mentioned. Somebody said that this is mentioned. Also talks. Quran also talks about the same thing what you are talking. Some says, okay, or Bible also suggests the same idea what you are describing. Some says that Guru Granth Sahib also has the same teachings what you are explaining. So I did not have read all these things. I have not read any Puran, Quran, Bible and Guru Granth Sahib. I have not read all these religious books. Why I am saying this? Because recently when we posted a video of this upcoming series, then I received a mail which says whatever you are saying is interesting and it's very good, but there is no point of teaching some religious things and mixing it with homeopathy. So I am not mixing it with homeopathy, but because I have never learned these things from religious books. But when I started sharing my ideas with people of different religions, everybody has said, for example, I was talking to Dr. Syed. He is also a predictive homeopath. So in 2014 or 15, I believe, I was sharing certain ideas. So he said, sir, you must read Quran, because what you are saying is also mentioned in Quran. And he gifted me also. So later on, I started referring and relating these religious books. So my initial idea was not about talking about some religion. The only religion what I know is homeopathy, and I believe that homeopathy is the only religion which we should practice as a homeopath. Second thing what I want to talk to you guys is about the concept of black hole and homeopathy. So I'll tell a whole story how I discovered this concept of black hole. Although it was purely in terms of philosophical understanding, there was no science initially. But as I say, philosophy is the mind of science, and science will always follow the philosophy. Same thing happened. I perceived everything in terms of philosophy, and then I started relating it to the science. And I found that my findings were absolutely correct. As I said, I got this idea in 2013, somewhere in August. And I verified my findings on a different parameters, on different scientific levels, talking to many people for almost 2 years. So most of us predictive homeopaths are well versed now with the idea of black hole, matter and antimatter, and to be very precise, the concept of nothingness. But I want to ask you a question. Does this concept has been ever mentioned, referred, or indicated by our master Dr. Hahnemann somewhere in any of his writings? This happens usually with us. When we talk about homeopathy, we always ask a question. So this is a big question, right? If the concept is correct, he should have mentioned somewhere, isn't it? So when in 2013 I got this idea of relating mechanism of our homeopathic medicines with black hole, this was the same question which I was facing. And although I understood everything within a month, but to find it out whether it is mentioned somewhere by Dr. Hahnemann, what do you think? So in this video, I am going to tell you where Dr. Hahnemann has indicated us about the concept of black hole, or in a very precise term, I would say he talked about the concept of nothingness. Because during the time of Dr. Hahnemann, black holes were not discovered. Black holes were discovered by Einstein and in 1910, I believe. So I'll be sharing my screen with you, and we'll be doing a little exercise what I did, and I reached to the conclusion where Dr. Hahnemann has said. So before reaching to that, I want to ask you a question, because that's my bad habit. Because when I share things, I don't just tell, I make you to work something and bring you to that level where you would also be able to find out things. So let me just connect you to my screen. Okay. So I am showing you the a PPT. Although I don't believe in the concept of reading with the PPT, but this is the PPT which I have taken. This is the presentation of seminar what I have taken in 2015 in the February. So this has almost around approximately 400 slides, but I could show there approximately, I would say I was somewhere around 187 or 190 slides only. So there's a lot many things which is supposed to be discovered. Like, I could not talk about the concept of color, what is the importance of color, how color is there. So these things we would be taking in the upcoming series what I am planning, and if required we will organize some Zoom sessions also, where you guys would be able to understand. So okay, so I have shared my screen with you. So my question is, you have a picture in front of you and you have to tell me whether this glass is half empty or half filled. Although I know this question is very simple, and that's why I'll give you some time. Think over this. I'm counting 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I hope you should be ready with your answer. And now there are two possibilities. Some would say, those who may be optimistic or the positive mindset, they may say that glass is half filled. And the other people will say glass is half empty. So if you say that glass is half filled, then you are wrong. And those who say half of the glass is empty, then definitely you are right. But if you don't know why you are saying this, it's not about your attitude. I don't want to check your attitude. I want you to understand the process of learning. If you say this glass is half empty, although the answer is correct, but if you don't know why, then which means you are also wrong. So in this, I would say the correct way of understanding this puzzle, this is a very ancient puzzle, I would say, but you can answer this if you understand the process of learning. So the answer to this picture should be, or this question should be, nobody can say whether it is half filled or half empty without knowing the past history of this, without knowing the process by which it has come to this state. Why I am telling you this is important to know the process? Because I would be telling you how I reached to certain conclusions in my findings in very briefly in this video. So if you see this is a picture where this glass is fully filled. So if you see this, there is a hint in this picture. There are two pictures. One is half filled and one is completely filled. But this half filled is not half filled. This is half empty. If you see this clock here, it has a time of 1:53 p.m. If you see this clock here, it shows the time of 1:59 p.m., which means this picture is the second picture. Before this picture, the original state of this glass was like this. Now why I am saying this? Because I want you to understand the process, how things have come from where to where. That's what we do in case taking. We need to understand the past history, and we see the present state of a patient has come from somewhere else. So we go back and understand. So similarly, for learning also we have to do this. Whatever current form of information is in front of you, you need to understand how this has come to you. So why I am saying this? Because what is more important here to understand is what action has been done on this state. That will define whether this present state is what. Which means initially it was filled, then something has been taken away. It has made empty. इसको कभी कोई ये नहीं बोलेगा कि अगर कोई आपको पूरा भरा हुआ ग्लास देता है तो आप ये नहीं बोलते हो कि इसको आधा भर के लाओ, आप बोलते हो इसे आधा खाली करके लाइए। उसके ऊपर एक्शन क्या किया गया है, ऐसे हिंदी में बोलते हैं कि उस अवस्था के ऊपर कौन सी क्रिया की गई है, वो क्रिया ये निर्धारित करेगी कि उसकी मौजूदा स्थिति क्या है। अगर ये ग्लास पूरी तरह से खाली होता और उसमें हम आधा लिक्विड डालते तो हम बोलते कि ये आधा भरा है, तब आधा खाली नहीं है, तब आधा भरा है, बिकॉज एक्शन इज ऑफ पोरिंग इट। लेकिन ऑलरेडी भरे हुए ग्लास को में से हम चीज को निकाल रहे हैं, तो एक्शन इज ऑफ रिमूविंग इट, वी आर एम्प्टीइंग इट, सो इट इज एम्प्टी. So why I am telling this story to you? Because I want you to understand that the current seminar, the sessions in the seminar are the outcome of some process what we have done. The process of learning, process of inferencing the conclusions out of using certain logics. So I'll take you to my Facebook page now, and in front of you my Facebook page. You can see this is a Facebook page. So before taking this before organizing this seminar, I have written certain conclusions about what I am going to tell. So this was posted on January 4th January 2015. Very soon you may find people around you, especially of homeopathic community, with raised eyebrows because of surprise, and few with disbelief. The seventh sense will reveal 7 main findings about mystic system of homeopathy and human behavior. First point was, evolution is the prime cause of disease. I'll be talking about more why I am saying this, that evolution is the prime cause of disease, and in the later part. Although a little bit I have already mentioned on my Facebook page, so if you read the previous post, you would be able to understand it, and I request you to go and read it, so that you will have a better insight of what we are talking in seminar will make you more sense. Okay, so evolution is the prime cause of disease. We are diseased because we are evolving fast, and we are evolving because we are civilized. Energy is disease. It should not be stored in the body, but should be discharged. So this is also something very contradictory to the existing knowledge of science when I say energy is disease. So energy, what is energy? We need to understand this first, and this whole concept of understanding energy and why I am saying energy will take one day. But in brief, I'll tell you, by this time I was very clear with the idea that energy is an expression of matter, and matter, which is denoted by the electron, that is the disease. And this gives me a further conclusion. If I am talking about understanding, if I have understood energy as a disease, the matter as a disease, so cure has to be the opposite of the matter, which is antimatter. So, which I am talking about in the next point. Although homeopathy is based on law of similars, as everyone knows, but actually deep down it is based on law of opposite. When it comes to cure, it actually cures on the principles of opposites. That was, I was trying to explain it. Let's see. Next is what? Most interesting to understand will be the mode of action of homeopathic medicines, which seventh sense philosophy says that A. Nature of interaction by medicine energy or force is just opposite to the nature of disease causing energy or force. B. Dimensional axis of correct medicinal force, which is similimum, is just exactly opposite to the dimensional axis of diseased force. Here I was trying to explain, if on a positive, if we take an axis, and if this is plus, then the opposite is the minus. So minus was denoted by the electrons and the plus was denoted by the proton, the positrons, the antimatter. which I am describing it again. See, it is only the layout or the structure of this medicinal force which is similar. Thus, it is called similar, not same. Now, this fifth point is very important, and my today's video is more about focusing and talking about this, that how I concluded and how I reached this conclusion. So one point I told you that I concluded that evolution, that energy is disease, and energy, the expression is matter. The materialistic expression of energy is electron. So the opposite is proton. So homeopathic medicines usually, it says homeopathic medicines actually contains nothing, neither any matter nor energy, but still there is something like space, where space is in everything and everything is in this universe, is in space. After potentization, medicinal structure becomes like vacuum or a void, a vacuum mold which is made by the single atom of selected substance initially on the clay of water, and cure acts as per the law of opposites. So the basic principle of our potentized medicine is to act as a vacuum mold like a black hole in universe, which can absorb disease energy, which is matter, into it. This medicinal structure shall be compared to the smallest particle of matter, Vishnu. Vishva plus Anu means atom, to which science is trying to find by the name of God's particle. Okay. Then after that, I tried to mention that homeopathy is, rather than science or art, it is a religion. Okay. So seventh point is not very important to which should be considered here. This is the conclusion, what I have concluded out of all my studies. This is the crux, what I am showing you right now. This diagram, where this is multicolored diagram, where it is resembling the head, the superior pole. This is north and this is south. If we consider this as an earth, this is a tilted axis of earth. This is the left side, which is defined by Sora. This is the right side, which is defined by psychosis. So this diagram ultimately describes you everything. Like as I mentioned, this is explaining aphorism number 3, knowledge of disease, theory of separation of Dr. Praful Vijayakar sir, levels of separation of Dr. Rajan Shankaran, knowledge of disease, knowledge of medicine, body language, human behavior, case taking, follow-up, Hering's law of cure, and even this describes Dr. Hammer's theory also. So in total, this whole diagram which I discovered, or I would say which I have designed, if you understand what is this and what is all is this is defining, where this importance of colors is very important, you would understand this one knowledge, one law will define almost everything. In spite of whatever I mentioned, it will help you in understanding Vastu Shastra also, handwriting analysis also, and phrenology also, face reading also, and everything. I'm sure if you understand what is this, you can implement it on anything, any science, any study. It will always appropriately fall correct. So let me talk about the concept of black hole first. So I have understood this concept purely in terms of philosophy. So actually in 2013 in August, something happened with me, and because of which I went through some incidences, and I have experienced certain phenomenon which I call it as seventh sense. So on 12th of October 2013, here I have written, if you see it here, I have written that homeopathic science may be only around 250 years old, but its basic principle is very ancient. This I saw in Indian mythology, where Lord Shiva used this principle of similia similibus curantur first time. He should be the god of homeopathy. When all Rakshas were totally uncontrolled and have created ruckus all over, then to treat them permanently, Lord Shiva created goddess Kali, a goddess who looks like devil. This is the first use of law of similars. Absolutely. Absolutely. Similia similibus curantur. But my question was, there was one question after reading this. Why he created a female? He could have created a male god also to fight with all these devils. But he created a female. Agree? So I asked this question to myself, why he created a female? And this has given me an answer, and this led me to the concept of black hole. Because when I understand that matter, I have equated matter as the masculine energy. So what is the opposite of matter is antimatter. So that has to be the feminine energy. So this diagram of Kali, when I started thinking about it, so then I concluded, it took some time to me, but in the whole process I have learned one very interesting thing. Don't seek answers. You should seek the right question. If your question is right, then definitely your answer will come in front of you. So when I understood this concept, then I asked myself, why he created a female? He could have created a male also to kill these demons. Why this story in this way? Then I was reading I'll show you this now. This is the time to open the organon. So this answer I got in aphorism number 26. A weaker dynamic affection is permanently extinguished in the living organism by a stronger one if the latter is very similar to the former in its manifestation. और ब्रैकेट में लिखा है while differing in kind. So this has given me answer, and this has led me to the concept of matter and antimatter. Now, second question arises, how I reach to this state that matter is disease. That we'll take in a later part. So I hope this has made my point, how I connected things, and this sentence, while differing in kind, she is just like a devil, similar in the manifestations, but different in kind. That's why he created this female. So, as I shown you that during my studies, I got to know this everything is 2013. But from 2013 to 2014, during this period, whenever I must thank this, I'm happy to mention this, that Dr. A.B. Jadhav, who is the principal of Bharati Vidyapith Homeopathic Medical College, and Dr. Dharmendra Sharma, who is the principal of D.Y. Patil Homeopathic Medical College. These two people have given me a plenty of time. They have given me, uh, they have listened to all my concepts very patiently, given me ideas, their insight, their critical views, different view, and that has helped me to evolve with this idea and compile it in a form where it can be delivered to other people so that they can also understand. I used to go and tell this thing to Jadhav sir very frequently, almost every alternate days. He used to give me around 2-3 hours, and I talked to him about what is Gita says, what Quran says, what Bible says, what this Granth says, what this Ved says. And he was very patiently and happily, he was also very happy to listen all these ideas. But I was a little skeptical about these things, so I asked. So once he said me, why don't you take a seminar on this and present these ideas to the world, because this is very interesting, and the way you look at the things, the way you explain these things in relation to whatever philosophies you reference would be of very much helpful for others also. So I asked him, do you think if I ask somebody, or if I say somebody, you know boss, our medicines are working on the principle of black hole, तो क्या होगा? Maybe now you are relating to it, but I am talking about 7 years back when I started saying this thing. And not to him only, there are many very few friends of mine, Dr. Narayan Suryavanshi, Dr. Suketu, Jitesh Chausalia from Gujarat, Dr. Sanket Wadgama, in UP, Dr. Raja Bundela, Dr. Vinit Sanger. So these people who are very close in the close circle of mine, I have shared this concept with them, and my idea was not to teach them. My idea was to get some questions for them, because I seek for questions, because the more and more questions if I would get, answers will automatically follow. So I was telling you about my interaction with Dr. Jadhav sir. So he said, why don't you organize a seminar? And I said, do you think this is a good idea I think people will laugh at me. He said, so what? This doesn't matter. If you think what you have convinced me beautifully. So do you think you should not be doing it? I said, sir, it's not about I should be doing or not. But I believe what I'm saying, that people will not understand. They would not be able to relate it. So he asked me a question. So whom do you think would be able to understand your idea? And I said, I think only Dr. Praful Vijayakar sir would be able to do this, would be able to understand this. He said, then go and talk to sir, and he would be very happy if you think he would be able to understand this. Sorry. So from 2013 to 2014, I spent almost 1.5 years to understand the concepts, whatever I have inferenced by this knowledge, in terms of science, what is the scientific parameters, what is the scientific understanding, and also in terms of where these things are also mentioned and supported by Dr. Hahnemann. So whatever finding, what I showed you, the concept of energy as a disease, or these things, if you see the philosophy, Dr. Hahnemann has written philosophy. So in philosophy, we talk many things in a very indirect way also. So I have related and I have understood things also. So finally we decided to organize a seminar in the month of December, and then I decided I should be going to Sir to take his blessings before the seminar, take his permission before the seminar. I also wanted to share my ideas that I am going to tell these things in the seminar. But I was little skeptical about one question, and that was, I can explain everything, I can give references of organon for every idea what I have, but what and how Sir would react when I will say, Sir, I think, or I have concluded with my studies and findings that our medicines are working on the principles of black hole, isn't it? So I was not very sure, and this was my main question, because I did not get any reference in any of the literature by Dr. Hahnemann which suggested that the concept of black hole or the concept of nothingness is indicating about something in maybe in a philosophical way also. So I asked my question to myself, what homeopathic medicine does? What homeopathic medicines do? So to that, I'll just show you again. I got the answer when I asked. So I got the answer when I asked the right question, and my question was, what is homeopathic cure? Huh? So this is organon of medicine. So before going to Sir, I started reading. I thought I should read my organon once again, because Sir may ask me, why you are saying this, then how would I give him a reference? So I started reading my organon again. So I read this aphorism number 1, the physician's high and the only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed. And I very categorically, I remember in many of the seminars, Sir has emphasized on the word that why Hahnemann has used this word restore. He could have said something else, mission to cure the sick or to destroy the disease, something, but he said restore. We all know. Then there comes the aphorism number 2. So when I asked the question, what is homeopathic cure? What is homeopathic cure? So I got my answer that the highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of the health, or removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent, in the shortest, most reliable and most harmless way, on easily comprehensible principle. So now this aphorism number 2 is actually very important, because this is the answer of today's question, whether Dr. Hahnemann has tell anywhere to us any relation of our medication or the process of cure to the concept of black hole, or to the concept of black hole is actually the concept of going to the nothingness. So let's see it again. The highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle and permanent restoration. Remember what restoration of the health. So restoration sir has already explained what is the meaning of restore, means bringing things back to its original situation. Restoration of the health or removal and annihilation. Now, what is annihilation? What is the meaning of this word annihilation? So, let's see what is the meaning of this word annihilation. Annihilation meaning. So, annihilation means complete destruction or obliteration. So, let's say what could be the synonyms. Synonyms were demolition, destruction, elimination, eradication, extermination, extinction. So my question was, again, he had said restoration of the health or removal or annihilation. He did not mention or annihilation. He said and annihilation, which means either restoration or removal. Any of the things could happen. But in both the condition, there would be a process which is called and annihilation. So this annihilation becomes very important for me. So he could have used word destruction or vanishing and vanishing of the disease or destruction of the disease, but he used annihilation. So let's see what is the meaning of vanish. Vanish meaning. So meaning of vanish is disappear suddenly and completely. Okay? और मैथमेटिक्स में ऐसे बोलते हैं becomes zero. Gradually ceases to exist. But he did not use this word. So, but he has used the word annihilation. So let's come back to the word annihilation. This one we want. Annihilation meaning. Now we'll see again, which is the complete destruction or obliteration. So he could have used the word destruction also, but he has not used the word destruction. What is the meaning of destruction? Destruction means the action or process of causing so much damage to something that it no longer exists or cannot be repaired. Now I'll tell you what is the difference in what is destruction. Let's say I have this. So what will happen if I break it? That would be called the destruction. But when I break it, a lot of pieces and the broken part of this would remain here itself. Right? The debris will remain here. So he has not used the word destruction. What in fact he has used is annihilation. So let's see again the meaning of annihilation. Annihilation is a noun which means the complete destruction or obliteration, but he did not use word destruction. He used word annihilation. So annihilation ka meaning in physics is the conversion of matter into energy, especially the mutual conversion of a particle and an antiparticle. How beautiful it is mentioned. So I decided to go and see the meaning of annihilation and try to understand what is the origin of word annihilation. So origin is late Latin annihilate and English is annihilate. Mid 16th century from the late Latin annihilation from the verb annihilare. So this word has been originated from the word annihilare in Latin. So what is the meaning of annihilate? Annihilate is destroy utterly or obliterately, or The other meaning which the physics says is convert to subatomic particle into radiant energy. Now let's go and see the origin. Late Latin means ad, means to, and late Latin means nihil, means nothing. How beautifully he has written this organon. Will take more 50 years to decode, even more than to decode what beautiful science he's describing into this. So annihilatus means reduced to nothing. Late Middle English originally as an adjective meaning destroyed, and from late Latin annihilatus, which means reduced to nothing. Wow, what a genius he was. Out of thousands type of words, thousands, more than thousands. Let's see, destruction, this S-T-R-U-C-T-E, destruction, synonyms. There are so many words: demolish, leveling, failing, dismantling, wrecking, smashing, shattering, blasting. So can you see the destruction has so many similar words? So I hope you got the answer where Dr. Hahnemann has also mentioned in his philosophical way. He has written this science, homeopathic science, in terms of philosophy. So now there was one more question which comes in my mind. Was really Hahnemann aware of these concepts? So I tried to find out who proposed the idea of black holes. This is also very important. So Albert Einstein first predicted the existence of black holes in 1916. The term black hole was coined many years later in 1967 by American astronomer John Wheeler. So how can he talk about this black hole? But there is still one possibility is there. Let's see. Let's see what Wikipedia is saying. Wikipedia is saying so let's see, there's a blackholecam.org. It says that John Michel proposed the idea of black holes already in 1783. Dr. Hahnemann wrote our organon and published, I think it's somewhere in around 1810. So who is John Michel? John Michel and Pierre-Simon Laplace were the first people to propose the concept of dark stars, or object which is, if compressed to a sufficiently small size, would have an escape velocity which exceeds even the lighter of this storm. So let's see who is John Michel. Let's check who is John Michel in. Let's go and see the history. This is the black hole. When we see the history, the idea of body so massive that even light could not escape was briefly proposed by astronomical pioneer in English Claremont John Michel in a letter published in November 1784. Let's see who is this John Michel. So John Michel was an English natural philosopher who provided pioneering insight into the wide range of scientific fields including astronomy, geology, optics, and gravitation. Considered one of the greatest unsung scientists of all times, he was the first person to know to offer the following concepts: proposed the existence of black holes. So this is the time when he must have talked about this concept. See, black hole is a scientific term, I would say, but the concept of nothingness is very ancient. It is mentioned in a lot of religious scriptures. So that I think Dr. Hahnemann must have used the concept of nothingness, that everything goes to the nothingness, where he said. So the society stated that while he was one of the most brilliant and original scientists of his time, Michel remains virtually unknown today, in part because he did little to develop and promote his own path-breaking ideas. That happens with most of the people, but that's fine. So I hope that I have been able to relate certain things, that whatever we are saying is not that out of the blue moon somebody is saying some random concept. It is this reference you can give. That aphorism number 2 describes beautifully the idea of concept of black hole, where it says the highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle and permanent restoration of the health and removal and annihilation of the disease in its whole extent. So let's find one more thing. Let's understand what is annihilation. Let's go on the Google and just search it. So there comes what is the annihilation of matter, what is the annihilation process, what is the annihilation in physics. These are all important for us. So let's see what is annihilation. Annihilation is assumed to be the complete obliteration of an object when an electron and positron, the electron's antimatter counterpart, collide. They annihilate and disappear. So when we see what is annihilation in physics, it comes out as annihilation in physics is a reaction in which a particle and its antiparticle collide and disappear, releasing energy. The most common annihilation on Earth occurs between the electrons and its antiparticle, a positron. What a beautiful way. That's why I always say, philosophy is the mind of science. As we saw that Mr. Michel was a natural philosopher. So he has already predicted in philosophy about the concept of black hole, which was later, I would say 300 years after when he proposed this idea of black hole, we could prove scientifically. So when we say what is a natural philosopher or philosophy of nature, was the philosophical study of nature and the physical universe that was dominant before the development of modern science. It is considered to be the precursor of natural science. So, philosophy is actually the precursor of natural science. Wow! This is something, I really liked it. This is something which is very interesting. Natural philosophy reflects the then current use of words natural philosophy akin to systematic study of nature. Wow! So let's do this. What is philosophy meaning? Philosophy is the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. Let's see the origin also. So in Greek, it is originated from a Greek philosophia, which means love of wisdom. Very nice. So in Middle English, from Old French philosophia via Latin from Greek philosophia, which means love of wisdom. So philosophy is when science combines with wisdom, it becomes philosophy. That's why I say, why it is important to understand philosophy, because philosophy, as I say, is the mind of science. So why homeopathic philosophy is important? Because if you understand homeopathy as an individual, then the science part is the body, which you can see, which you can relate, which you can show the evidences. But as we treat a patient, he has visible component, is the physical component, physical structure and physical complaints. And there is something which is invisible to us, that is his mind. But mind is the boss, everybody knows. That is the supreme authority. Same way, philosophy is the mind of science. When you talk about science, the science is only a one part, but philosophy is there. So homeopathic philosophy is also the mind of homeopathy as an individual. You can't study two things differently. You have to consider this thing as a whole. That makes the system a holistic system, as understanding as a whole. So then I decided to go and tell this thing to sir, and in December, on in fact 9th December 2014, I went to sir, I met him, and there was a lot of apprehension about me, because I sat there, I reached there around in the afternoon, around I think 1ish or something, and I was seeing cases with and discussing cases with sir. Sir was teaching us. It was always a beautiful conversation and a wonderful scenario. Then around evening at 7, sir went for a refreshment. So I was waiting कि सर का केबिन खाली हो जाए, because I never wanted to tell sir in front of so many juniors, so many assistants, कि सर हमारी मेडिसिन होम्योपैथिक मेडिसिन ब्लैक होल के कॉन्सेप्ट पे काम करती है. आई अज्यूम माय आइडिया वाज, बाकी लोग शायद समझे ना, पीपल मे लाफ एट मी. आई डोंट वांटेड टू बी दैट वे. So sir went for a refreshment at around 7 p.m. He he's gone to the first floor cabin mein. So I followed him and I entered in his room and I locked the room. So I said, why are you locking it? I said, sir, I need some time. So I carried all my organon book, all my notebook where I have written down all the concept of this seventh sense ideas. I told him the incident which happened with me, and after that I experienced a series of findings, and which I call seventh sense. So I was expecting कि मैं सारी चीजें तो सर को बता ही दूंगा in fact, but I thought I don't know how sir would react when I say that I have concluded and I have understood that our homeopathic medicines are actually work on the principles of black hole. This is so silly, right? But to my surprise, sir ने 20 मिनट मेरी पूरी बात सुनी. He listened everything. I was continuously talking for around non-stop for 20 minutes, very fast. Sir has listened all whatever I am saying, and then he just smiled and said, I don't know how do you know this, but it is very strange and surprising for me know that you have come to this conclusion? Because I am also having the same idea about our medicines, and then he shared his idea about the wormhole concept, that he is also thinking into this. We did not discuss much more about this, but he said, whatever you have told me, if this is true, what happened to you, I can believe that this could have happened. And I have to say that whatever you are saying is absolutely right, and I have nothing, and there is nothing which I can contest, because whatever you have said is absolutely correct. And this has given me a lot of motivation and excitement about conducting these seminars. Because I never wanted validation from anybody else. Because as per me, there wasn't anybody who could have able to understand what I am trying to relate. There was only one individual but I believed, and he was Sir. And I was surprised to see that what he was thinking, I have also thought the same way. And I met Sir in 2014, but I was clear with my findings by October 2013. So where I'll show you one of my posts where I have written, this philosophy of seventh sense, whatever I have understood, has helped me a lot in understanding the concept, what Sir really is trying to, the thought process, what Sir really is trying to inculcate in us, in everybody of us. And this I have mentioned also on my page, and I feel very proud in that. So I'll show you. So this I have written on October 1st, 2013. In this last 1 month, I have understood that human beings should have only 5 senses if they want to remain healthy. I have understood predictive homeopathy to that depth to which nobody else would have understood. I have understood that with this seventh sense, I am going in syphilis. I have to be in psychosis to be with others. Higher the intelligence, more syphilitic it should be. Gradually, I have to shift from philosophy to science. So I was understanding everything, whatever is happening to me is actually a syphilitic state, because I have never read all these things anywhere. I got to know. And I know this is wrong. This is syphilis. But as you know, there are 2 types of syphilis, good syphilis and bad syphilis. So when I have described in terms of philosophy, in seventh sense, I call it Brahmin element, which is syphilis also. And there is one element which is Shudra, that is syphilis also. So I hope you have been able to relate what I was trying to talk about, this black hole concept, how I reached to there. This is just a brief idea, and it took almost nearly 1 hour. It's a big time. Thank you for sparing your time. So my humble request is to watch these series which we are releasing on 4th of August on Sir's birthday. This is my dedication to Sir and my birthday gift to Sir. That now we know that the concept of black hole is also mentioned somewhere in Organon in the aphorism number 2, where he used the term annihilation. So annihilation का meaning आपको समझाया. Go watch video about what is annihilation, or you can write on Google just what happens when electron collides with positron. What happens when electron collides with positron? Okay. So this is called electron-positron annihilation. So this process itself is called annihilation in science. Electron-positron annihilation occurs when electron and positron, the electrons and positron collide. If it does not travel in vacuum, a positron quickly encounters one of these electrons. When they meet, the positron and electron, which are antiparticle to each other, destroy themselves mutually. They annihilate. Because this question was asked to me also. Does Dr. Hahnemann has said something about this black hole? Then why you are shouting about black hole, black hole? You guys are distracting. No, sir, we are not distracting. We are not misguiding. What we are teaching, what we have understood in the light of modern science, with reference to the homeopathic philosophy and the ancient philosophy, with the help of ancient philosophy. So this concept of black hole or conversion of matter into antimatter is absolutely homeopathic. It is supported by Organon and Dr. Hahnemann also. So let's say thank you very much. Jai Predictive, Jai Hahnemann, Om Vijakaraya Namah. That is the final words. Please like this video. If you like it, then only, no psychosis. Subscribe this video because we would be able to get in touch more, and that will encourage us to spend more time into this kind of studies. So I have a lot of thing to share. Stay tuned, stay connected, spread this beautiful scientific organon based science or scientific organon or this scientific philosophy to others, your colleagues, so they can also learn, or rather than learn, they should fine-tune their process of thinking towards some direction. I always believe that teacher's role is not to teach, but to create interest and passion about the subject. And I think Sir has been successfully, and he is master into this art. He has created interest, created passion, created curiosity in thousands and thousands or even lakhs of the people, and so on. I think this video has approximately near about 1 hour or so. So thank you very much. Jai Hahnemann.